Good Shabbos. Well, he came from college just the other day. So much like a man, I just had to say, son, I'm proud of you. Would you sit for a while? Anybody know what comes next? He shook his head and he said with a smile, what I'd really like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later. Can I have them, please? There are very few songs that have a higher probability of making adult men cry than Cats in the Cradle. It's the story about a man who has a child and is always, the man is always busy with work, and the kid keeps asking to play with him, and eventually the tables turn. The man who had no time during his son's childhood now realizes his son has very little time for him in his adulthood. Bereshit bara Elohim. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Story of creation, right? How many stories of creation? Somebody said this. I don't know if this is one or two. It's two, right? Two stories of creation. The first one, how long did it take? 7 days, right? Vayehi or, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God said, let there be this, and let there be this, and that, and all of these things. And God created the cosmos, the heavens and the earth. God separated the firmament from for waters above and below. And then at the end, towards the end of creation, sixth day, God says what? Come, let us make man in our image. Let us, Zacharu nekeva bara otam. God created male and female, God created them. That's the first story. And in the second story, that's the second chapter, the second parak, says, these are the generations toldot of heavens and earth. And the creation of humanity is very different. In the first story, God said, let there be humanity, boom. But what happens in the second story? How is Adam created in the second story? God breathes life into Adam. Two different gods in two different stories. One is transcendent, a God of the cosmos, a God, Ribono Shel Olam, the creator of the universe. And the second story, God is not transcendent, God is immanent. God is Avinu Shebashamayim, our Father, our parent in heaven, who breathes life. The second God also says, whereas the first God, everything God created, what? And God saw that it was what? Good. In the second story, after God creates it, God says, no, it's not good. Lo tov heyot adam levado. It's not good for Adam, for a person to be alone. So God puts Adam to bed, takes out a rib, and creates Eve. Ezer kenegdo, a helper and a foil, an opponent. Two different gods. And two different Adams as a result. The first story, the first chapter of creation, God says, give humanity dominion over the land. What's another word for dominion? Control, rule, domination, right? In the second story, and that's domination over everything that exists, over the earth and the waters and the trees and the animals. And in the second story, Adam encounters the animals very differently. What does Adam do with the animals as soon as Adam meets them? He starts naming them. And in the second story, this immanent God, this close, intimate, immanent God, Say that 5 times fast. Adam is no longer in charge. He's a steward. He's a partner. The first one, God is transcendent and Adam is dominant. In the second one, God is immanent and Adam is a partner. And Rabbi Soloveitchik talks about this. He talks about 2 Adams. He calls them, appropriately, Adam 1 and Adam 2. Brilliant man, maybe not the most creative with names. He would have said, animal with hair and 4 legs, right? That's what he would have said. But Adam 1 and Adam 2 are not different people. They're the same. And each of us has both. Adam 1, we have a need to dominate, a desire to control. Right? I mean, let me use I statements. I have an Adam 1 in me. It comes out every time I'm on the 405. Right? Why haven't you parted like the Red Sea for me? Right? Why can I not control traffic with a wave of my hand? That's Adam 1. Adam 2 is a partner. Adam 2 is when you're stopped and you say, oh no, please, go ahead. And whether we're parents or partners, co-workers, colleagues, whatever, we always have a choice between Adam 1 and Adam 2. We have a choice between trying to dominate and control and trying to partner. How many of you, Beth, you just got back, how many of you have ever been in an airport and had your flight delayed? This is, believe it or not, a test of your Zen. It is. Because guess what? You're not getting that plane in the air any quicker. You have 0 control. So you have 2 choices. You can take that and realize that I am just a part of this world, a partner in this world, a steward, or I can try to control what is around me. We don't get to control what happens to us. The only thing we control is our reaction to it. So Adam 1 leads to problems. It also leads, by the way, to great success. And David, how many of you have heard of David Brooks, an author for the New York Times? He wrote a book called, I think it's called The Road to Character, something like that. He talks about Adam 1 and Adam 2, and he does it brilliantly. He divides us up. He says there are 2 types of traits. Adam 1, in the workforce, right? How many words a minute can you type? Do you know Excel? Have you led organizations? Have you fundraised? All of these different things. Those are resume traits. Adam 2, how well do you listen? How well do you partner? How well do you have time for everybody in your life? Those aren't resume traits. They're eulogy traits. And we live in a time and a place where resume traits are put above eulogy traits all the time. Where we have to strive between Adam 1 and Adam 2. By the way, when we're created in that first story of creation, how are we created again? What's the introduction? Come, let us make man in our image. We are created in the image of God. We have the ability to try to be transcendent, to be above, be separate from, or we can be the other story, the immanent. The Avinu Shabashamayim, the Father in heaven, is not just the Father in heaven, it's what kind of parent do we want to be? Do we want to try to control our children or partner with them? Now, I'm not advocating for no rules. I will say, and you can turn this off right now because I don't want my kids to ever see this. Every difficult, air quotes, trait I see in my children, first of all, they're created in my image, so it's not apples falling far from trees. But the other one is, it's hard to parent them but it's going to serve them really well. Their ability to stand up to authority, to think for themselves, while not so fun when you're trying to get them out of the house, is going to do well when they encounter peer pressure, when they encounter a boss who's not so positive. In our image, we read today about generations of Adam. And in those words, we have another idea that it's a child is created in our image. So that father, who in the beginning of our story, the father in the song, created a child in his own image. We have a choice. We can emphasize the resume. We can emphasize trying to have dominion over the world. We can search for leaders who are the same, or we can look for partners. My hope and my prayer that this Shabbat of Bereshit, of beginning, that this is the beginning of, you may have heard this quote, a beautiful friendship. That we partner on many things in the months to come. That we create something together. Shabbat Shalom.